Okay, today we are covering chapter 12 and chapter 12 based on mobile forensics. And mobile forensics involved into science on its own. You have to understand this chapter just barely covers like a top layer of mobile forensics. From this chapter, you will learn basics of basics. And to be honest, if you will be interested in forensics in general and you will decide to take mobile forensics, you will have to take entire course in mobile forensics. We're offering at CSN one class that Arthur currently leads, but Arthur Salmon. But even one class, 16 weeks wouldn't be not enough. Like it would not be enough to study everything about mobile phones. And the reason for that, because now mobile phones, they are more commonly used in digital crimes than computers. And we're not talking about mobile phones only. Any mobile device that we um, can use to receive data, transmit data, take pictures with is part of mobile forensics. So if we're talking about smartwatch, part of mobile forensics. If we're talking about tablets, iPads, or like Samsung tablets, or Fire readers, they all part of mobile forensics. Now I'm gonna try to wrap your head around something else. Auto, the car forensics. Car forensics, it is science on its own, separately from mobile forensics. But it's evolved from the mobile forensics because technologies that we use in mobile phones and portable devices, we also use in infra system of the car. And you have to understand that's all like separate um, science on its own in forensics, and it would require about a year of in-depth studies and hands-on to be a professional in this. And you do really have to do a lot of hands-on. That's the whole benefit of forensics, that without actual hands-on experience, your knowledge is not really valid. So forensics, as I told you from the beginning of this semester, it's like bottling between legal aspects of science, basically dealing with the law and studying the law, and at the same time you working with technologies, and you have to not just um, understand one type of technologies. If you want to be professional in digital forensics, you have to understand multiple devices, how they work. So when we get to mobile forensics, back in time, our mobile phones did not have that much capabilities, and they were limited to just maybe internal memory that didn't have like a lot of space, that contained some of information on mobile phones. Maybe first like flip phones back in between 2000 2010 was containing some pictures. They just started evolving with cameras. Guys, I have to quickly take a break. Something happening. I have to run quickly downstairs. So, if in the past we obtained memory of the phone itself, possibly some of those phones supported some memory cards. But if we take 10 years back, the memory cards were not as large as today. And capabilities of those phones were pretty limited. The first actual smartphones dated around 2007 when iPhone was announced. And iPhone and Google based phones or Android based phones, they were announced within like few months from each other. iPhone was the first. That's what you need to know, but not for this class, just in general. So, but before that, even devices that were called smartphones, they still didn't have as many functions as iPhone did, and then Google devices. Right now, we have two major operating systems that work on mobile devices. It's iOS, made by Apple, and Android. I cannot tell you manufacturer because there's Android on every single device. And with Apple, everything is complicated because it's not open system and it's not as easy to do forensics on iPhones. However, Android has different type of complications. There are too many different variations of Android. Too many embedded devices that running on Android. And Android is based on Linux. So you have to be familiar with Linux as well. If we're going a few years back, Microsoft had its own mobile operating system. Something similar to Windows that we use today, but those phones have not become popular, and Microsoft just discontinued to produce their phones. Or let's just say manufacturers just stopped producing phones with the Microsoft operating system. Why they stopped? Because Android had more capabilities. It was open source, so manufacturers didn't have to pay for it. And it was easier to basically adopt this and modify it for the needs of the particular mobile device. But as a digital forensic professional who study mobile forensics, you need to know all aspects of Android, different flavors of Android, what libraries it's running on, and it's like dozens and dozens of libraries. How Android devices boot, you have to memorize that, and you have to know the names of those libraries and what is the names of the booting daemons. So I posted this information for you in Canvas in short version from CHFI exam prep book. And you will be shocked, even in this short study guide, how much information there. I mean, it's literally took me about good few weeks of memorization of just doing cards with the names of different processes of different applications that running on Android. So we're not gonna discuss right now. I don't want to read from the page what is Android booting process. You will read it yourself. We also not gonna talk about iOS libraries and how iOS booting. Just all you need to know that today, if you're studying mobile forensics, it will take good 6 months for you just to study it. So today, over course of this digital forensic, it's saying you will not be able to become a forensic professional just from one class and doing couple labs that I posted on Canvas. So when we talk about our old phones, what would be our mobile evidence? Limited storage, SIM card. And that's pretty much it. SIM card could contain some information regarding device location and phone numbers, basically phone book. Now, our phones became more complicated than some computers, let's just say. We have large amount of storage inbuilt into the mobile device that we need to obtain. We have large amount of supported memory cards if we're talking about some Android devices. iPhone and Apple devices do not support additional memory. And cloud. And remember that cloud, it's actually science on its own. Cloud it's totally different part of digital forensics. So when you study mobile forensics, on the side, you also need to study cloud forensics. With that saying, that's only hardware of this phone, right? But in cloud as well. And what else we would consider? Well, since we're using our mobile device now to access emails, go to the internet, and pretty much everything that we do on the computer, and all the evidence we could get on the computer, we can get from the mobile device now. We also have camera. And when we take pictures with camera, this also recorded in our inner memory with extra information, including when and where this picture had been taken. Additional evidence that we probably wouldn't be able to obtain from the computer because we don't take pictures with computers. Usually we don't. So as it's been said by Gary Kistler, that mobile devices became number one evidence in pretty much every digital crime now. Or not even digital crime, any crime. An example of this very famous case of 2015 San Bernardino terrorist attack. And if you have never heard about this, basically what happened, two terrorists, they attack some corporate pre-Christmas party, if I'm not wrong, and there was like, I'm not sure, like around 20 people were killed during this attack. And then they were stopped by the police officers when they tried to escape after this attack, and they were killed on the spot. So all the evidence they could obtain from these terrorists were their iPhone device. iPhone, basically. And the problem was that police didn't know the PIN code. And iPhone will lock itself after you enter PIN code incorrectly more than 3 times. So of course that's what happened, and they were asking Apple to provide the backdoor to access the information. So asked Apple nicely first to provide this, to access this suspect or terrorist mobile phone, but Apple wasn't that nice. They said no, that's a privacy issue and they will not ever provide to anyone any backdoors. Then there was mini court days where they tried to fight with each other and Apple won. They were not they were not agreed to provide any sort of backdoor to this mobile phone. What happened at the end of the story? That FBI bought some really expensive software from Israel that were able to crack the phone. And as I believe right now, FBI still uses this software. And it is really important for you to know and understand that there's some software that FBI and law enforcement using are not something that publicly available. For example, you cannot just download like FTK. However, you can find some software that you can download and install and sort of try to play with on a trial period, something like Celebrate. You will not get like full package, but or Oxygen for the mobile devices. So there are many programs or software that allows you to do mobile forensics, but none of them free or open source and publicly available. So, and most of them do not even do forensics on iPhones. I'll tell you from my previous experience when I don't have much experience with mobile forensics. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually planning to take courses on mobile forensics myself in the future. But last year I went to very big digital forensics convention in San Diego. There was like whole aisle just for mobile forensics. So when we talk about mobile forensics, I mentioned is not just your device itself. It's also cloud. But something I forgot to mention. Your mobile device also connects towers. Those towers receiving information from your mobile device. So that's something that coming from the previous days before your mobile device became smart device. When you can actually, by a triangulation system, find this person. So you have to understand that mobile forensics is more complex than even computer forensics because it requires to obtain knowledge in different fields at the same time when you trying to do forensics. Let's just think quickly what else on a mobile device could provide valuable forensic evidence besides your pictures, besides your text messages, besides phone calls. Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. GPS. Well, Wi-Fi not so much, but GPS, yes. And here's why. You might not have on your mobile device any evidence. Search history, I see you guys typing, so I'm gonna reply to you quickly. So search history is something similar to computer forensics. But what your mobile device does that your computer does not, it provides GPS. And not just GPS history, where you went. So now even if you don't have any evidence on your computer, you don't have like any specific photos, or you don't have any communication, but you, for example, were a suspect in crime, and you say that I've never been there. I have like strong alibi and I was home all the time. They can run GPS from your phone just through the triangulation system, through the towers that your phone has been connected to. I mean, not just from triangulation system and towers you've been connected to, but from the GPS, from the satellite itself. And they will find where you went if you had your phone with you. Again, there was another famous case that I would like to tell you. So I started telling you that car forensics sort of evolved from the mobile forensics, and here is why. What do we do when for example, we have one of the modern cars with infotainment system? What do we do when we start engine of our car? Our mobile device connects this info system. And it's not just connecting this info system, but it's also exchanging information with it. We have our phone book, we have our messages, we have our phone calls, we have even more than that connected with the info system. And do you think when you disconnect your phone, it's all gone? No, it stays there. So there was famous case when someone stole the car and just abandoned this car somewhere. And when they found, through the infotainment system, they were able to identify who stole the car. And now our cars, they are computers itself, who connected to GPS, through the satellite. And even if we don't take our phone with us, this car would be recording everything that happens within the car. But we're not talking about car forensics here. I'm just telling you that it is evolved from the mobile forensics very rapidly in the past 10 years. So with that, I'm just going to stop because, as I said, there is not too much to cover in this lecture, because otherwise we're just going to spend hours and hours and hours talking about details and not memorizing anything, because it's a lot of acronyms, it's a lot of details. And if you like to study mobile forensics, you need to take additional course. So I'm going to stop recording, and if you have, well, actually, I'm not going to stop recording because I want to cover something else, not in the book. So starting this week, we need to start to write our final paper. And you probably noticed I posted already a submission form for your topic. So I need you to submit topic for your research paper by the next week, next class. And if you're struggling to find any topic, please contact me. So your topic, I already told you last week, and I'm just repeating myself to make sure you guys understand. The topic doesn't have to be just a computer forensics. Any digital device forensics, any case that involves digital device forensics. Like this terrorist attack where mobile device was involved, right? Or I mentioned earlier Anthony Casey case where computer and search, her search from the browser was involved. So think about it and submit your topic by the end of this week. If you're struggling, make sure you contact me on time so I can give you just a topic. But I still would prefer you to do a little research and find your own favorite case. You can go to the history and find something old, or you can uncover something new. Like one of the very recent hacks that been investigated, that someone was trying to hack Tesla from Russia, by the way. The person came from Russia and tried to hack Tesla. And there are plenty of space to find information about it. Please do not copy paste. I will run your papers through the plagiarism application, and if you do plagiarize your paper, you will fail. So please do not use. Look, I love Wikipedia. It's give you like a starting point for your research. Don't use Wikipedia as your primary resource. Please don't. As a matter of fact, you can find some information in Wikipedia and go to the bottom of this article and click on those links to the original resources that Wikipedia used. No academic paper should have been linked or cited from Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is not original resource. Okay, with that saying, now I can stop recording.